Hi everyone and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can get the most smooth, flawless makeup base with affordable products. You don't have to have MAC, Bobbi Brown, Clinique and all those high-end brands for a good makeup base. I mean, I love all the three brands I just named, but you don't necessarily need them for a good makeup base. I did not start making videos with high-end products, so I understand the value of affordable products, and thankfully there are some really good ones in the Indian market. So let me show you how you can get the most flawless makeup base without making a big hole in your pocket. I'm going to start with prepped skin. I already applied a serum. I used a salicylic acid serum because my skin is breaking out a lot. Then I applied a moisturizer and then a sunscreen. I'm going to link all the three products in the description. But my skin still feels a little bit dry. The primer that I'm going to use today is this one from Mars. It's the Mars Dripping Primer. I talked about this in a recent video. It's going to give me a sticky base and some hydration. I'm going to apply a nice layer of this all over my face, especially in my T-zone. Also tapping it under my eyes. Can apply a little extra on my smile lines. Pressing it really nicely into my skin. Can you see the primer has made my skin so dewy and it has given me the grip? This is going to make my base very long lasting. Today I will be using a skin tint. I mostly go for products that have sheer coverage. The skin tint I'm using today is from Insight. This is the Insight 5-in-1 Multifunctional Serum Foundation. I'm in the shade Hazelnut Short. Now I have talked about most of the products that I will be using in today's video. So this video is going to be more about techniques. I'm going to take some on the back of my hand. Let's start with the T-zone. So I'm applying this on my chin, pigmentation, some on my forehead, on my nose, then over here. Now I'm going to take a clean brush. This one is the PAK S03 and I'm going to press this into my skin. I'm doing these small buffing motions. It's easier to blend the skin tint with a brush and I will not recommend a sponge. You can either blend this in with a brush or your fingers. Now I'm going to pick the rest of the product and apply to the leftover areas. I'm going to focus some on my acne spots and the leftover I'm taking to the outside. Now this much of coverage is enough for me personally. If you're using a foundation, you can build it for more coverage. But for a skin tint like this, I'll say one layer is more than enough because you're not going to get too much coverage out of it. I'm just going to use the concealer for the rest of my face, like for spot correction. For concealers, I'm going to use the Swiss Beauty liquid concealers. I'm going to mix a couple of shades, Clairvoyant and Warm Sand. So this one is Clairvoyant and this one is Warm Sand. Warm Sand looks closer to my skin tone, but you can see it's a little bit yellow. That's why I have to mix Clairvoyant to it. And Clairvoyant is my highlighting shade. I don't want to highlight too much today. So first of all, I'm going to take Warm Sand and apply a little bit under my eyes on my pigmentation. I'm going to blend this out first. I'm using a makeup sponge from PAK. This is a medium to full buildable coverage concealer. In one layer, you will get medium coverage and you can build it up to full coverage. So this is sort of like a correcting shade for me. Okay, now I'm going to use Clairvoyant and apply it right there. Also just a tiny bit on my pigmentation. I'm going to use a brush to blend this out. I will be using the Prosh P20. So this removes the yellow tint from Warm Sand. When I do a full coverage base, I'll just use Clairvoyant. But if I want it to look more natural, I have to mix these two shades because if I just use Clairvoyant, my under eyes look too bright. Right now you can see it looks very, very natural. For my contour, I am going to use the PAK Take Cover Concealer. This one is in the shade Baked Brown. I love this shade for contouring my face. It's a neutral brown. I'm going to pick it up with the PAK 234 brush. And let's start with the cheekbones. Now this concealer is very pigmented, so make sure that you're using the least amount of product. Then I'm going to apply the least amount of product on my jawline. So right here. And then the leftover to my hairline, to contour my forehead. For blush, I definitely want to use something warm tone today, so I'm going to use this one from Mars. It's the Mars Blush Hour Liquid Blush and I've got the shade Dawn. Now this is a really nice warm peachy shade. These blushes from Mars are very, very blendable. I'm going to use the PAK S08 brush and again I have sheared it out on the back of my hand because I don't want to apply too much of any product. I start applying my blush from here, the highest part of my cheekbone, because that's what I want to highlight. I want my face to look more lifted, so I don't focus it on the apples a lot. Also applying a little bit on my nose. Now this is very much optional. I am going to use a liquid highlighter. This one is from Mars. It's the Mars Glow Fly Liquid Highlighter, and I love the shade Winged Champagne. So again, I'm going to shear it out on the back of my hand. You can see how shiny that is. You don't want all of that on your cheekbones. So I'm going to pick some up with the blush brush, and I'm really precise with the placement. I'm just going to apply it on the highest point. The step is optional because it depends how dewy you want your skin to look. If the blush is dewy enough, you can stop there. Let's set this face, and for that I'm going to use the loose finishing powder from Maybelline. I'm in the shade light medium. I'm just gonna pick some up on my brush. And again, I don't want to set my entire face. I want certain parts of my face to be super duper glowy, dewy. So I'm gonna remove the excessive powder on the back of my hand and then just go into my under eyes first. I basically like setting my T-zone. This area of my face gets oily very often, so I like to set that properly. Also applying some powder on my smile lines and then some on the chin. Now I'm also going to apply some on my forehead. So my base is done. There is just one more step left. Let me finish the rest of my makeup and then I'll do that. For the final step, I'm going to lock in my base with a setting spray. This is the Swiss Beauty Select Prep Set Matte Makeup Fixer. This is hands down my favorite affordable setting spray. Doesn't make my skin look too dewy. The matte areas stay matte. Let me do a quick transfer test of my base. The biggest takeaway I want you to remember is that flawless makeup is not about piling products. It's about using the products in the right places, right amount, and blending it the right way. That's what's going to help you achieve a flawless base with these affordable products. Other than that, make sure you understand your skin type and buy products according to that. I really hope that you found the video helpful. If you did, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye.